All right, guys, can you hear me? See me? See the screen? Testing. Typing in chat. Let me know. Hope you're all doing well. Had a nice walk this morning. Usually, by the time I finish trading, it's monsoon. So it's rainy and dark. And yeah, so this was nice to take a walk during the daylight hours before the monsoon arrives. All right, let's go ahead and look at what we've got shaken. Before I get into it, I will make sure somebody can hear me and see me. Let's see. Looks like everybody can probably hear me and see me, so that's good. Okay, so the Fed is coming out in about 20 minutes, and we'll have to wait and see what the announcement is. I didn't trade this morning because I don't want to trade pre-Fed, but so far the analysis from yesterday was pretty spot on. Talked about support into this level here. So far we have seen that on ES and Q as well. Dow. So pretty choppy day, but some nice support levels. More volatility than I expected with the Fed on deck. Russell had a big move up, but you can see not a lot of volume. Gold tight range waiting. Silver, kind of a big sell-off here to support. That was probably a nice buy earlier on silver, right into the crossover support there. So at this point, we're just going to wait for the Fed to come out in 20 minutes, see what they say about interest rates. Probably going to be no change, but we'll see what the statement language is. And then Powell's coming out at 2:30 with the press conference. And I'm just going to wait for alerts here across the different markets that we follow and see if anything good sets up the last couple hours of the day here at the Fed. So it's pretty much where we're at. Seeing if there's anything I would have taken earlier today. I did see, this is ES, definitely on the Russell. This was a nice buy right here. You got a nice pocket here, moving inside the envelope. We're right at all that support there, so that was a nice buy signal on the Russell for sure. But I wasn't trading this morning, waiting for the Fed. That was at 9:32 a.m. Eastern. So that was a decent signal there pre-Fed. Gold, pretty choppy in here. Probably wouldn't have taken anything. Silver, as I mentioned, that's probably not a bad exhaust reversal buy signal there at 36.70. That happened right at 10:20 a.m. Eastern. The reason that's a good buy is because we were bullish heading into the day, and you've got your VolPro Edge dynamic market support levels coming across right there, right at the middle of the envelope, right at the VolPro reaction support level. And that's, of course, crossed over right there. So that's a lot of support right there. So when you get that kind of an exhaust right down into all that support, you know, that's where you want to look to buy it. So silver, a good little buy there. Copper, pretty choppy. Don't really see much. Platinum, continuing to look bullish. Talked about this yesterday's end of day video. We had closed above all these DMLs here, and I was looking to push higher. So we're pretty much just going straight up on platinum. Ultra bonds, I thought there'd be some resistance up in here, right up in here, but so far we haven't really confirmed. We broke all that, and we're just kind of pushing higher. So the ultra bonds did not confirm resistance yet. The Australian dollar was a beautiful push up off the pocket support right here. So that was nice. Just trending up here on the intraday charts. And crude oil continues to be choppy. Nat gas pushing higher. Not really too interested in the grains today. So let's just wait and see what the indices, the metals and the energies do heading into Powell. Yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me. Am I coming across? I believe I am. Make sure you can see the correct screen. Looks like you can. Let's draw a big box. There it is. Appears to be the right screen. Yeah, so we got the announcement in 15 minutes. Let's wait and see. So ES, we've still got a few contracts left till this bar closes. And, you know, if we get a nice pullback pocket here, could be setting up for something like this, depending on Powell's language. What's up, Jose? Good to see you, man. You hear me okay? I think you guys hear me. Just gonna grab some water. I don't think there'll be that many people here for the stream today just because it's so late. That water is good. What's up, Ralph? Driving home from Boston, if I can see and kind of hear. Okay. Is it my volume or is it something on your end with the volume? But don't type and drive. Jose, you can let me know if the volume's coming across on your computer. Should be. I'll spare you my Boston accent, Ralph. One day. One day I'll do it. So how'd you guys do today? Anybody trade? Oh, you use headphones. Okay. Well, I mean, I've got the mic now on a little stand right in front of my mouth, so the volume should be as good as it's ever been. You guys traded all today, or you've been waiting for the Fed? There were some, you know, looking back, there were some pretty good opportunities. The Russell gave a good buy signal here at 9:30. Silver gave a good long signal at about 10:20. So I suppose had I known there would be good signals, I would have traded. I just kind of expected it to be a bit more choppy waiting for the Fed. Still sick, but definitely turning the corner, which is good. Happy about that. Yeah. Okay, nice. You're in the car. Got you, man. Yeah, so we had some pretty good volatility here pre-Fed. Most of the daily analysis seems pretty spot on. The bonds are pushing a little higher than I anticipated, the ultra bonds, but the indices, you know, were pretty strong support so far in those pockets. Yeah, the rest of the calls are looking pretty darn good. So now we're just waiting on Powell. I really am not going to put anything on, you know, pre-announcement just because it can kind of get a little crazy. That can be hard sometimes because, you know, when there's a good pattern and I want to put it on, I just the liquidity is a little too thin to put it on right before the interest rate's going to come out. So I kind of treat it like non-farm payrolls. I'm not going to put anything on. Really, number one, the announcement needs to come out in 12 minutes. And then number two, you know, after that, I'll start putting stuff on if there are signals. We just got to be aware that there'll be less liquidity, more volatility. Not really expecting any big changes, but let's see. See what the language says. Nasdaq rallying off the lows now from, well, the recent lows. Up about 60 points off 960. Still got some time left until this bar closes on the Nasdaq. Looking at the Russell, we're going to get a close here momentarily, but I don't really see anything I want to do there on the Russell. Just looking at platinum, continue to just head straight up, pretty incredible. So yeah, we'll just wait for our alerts. ES got about 68,000 contracts left until this 240,000 contract bar closes. I got to tell you guys, the more I follow the higher time period intraday volume charts, it's clean. It's one of my favorite ways to use VolPro Edge, because end of day trades, you know, swing trading, you got to really wait for the right setups. That can kind of test the patience. And then, you know, day trading can get a little too exhausting when you're jumping in and jumping out and jumping in and jumping out. But these 4-hour-ish type volume bars, I'm liking. They're very clean, and it makes trading really relaxing, which is nice. And then kind of using the 1-hour volume chart for confirmation whether or not you want to get in on your 4-hour. It's a pretty chill way to trade, which I'm digging. What's up, Jacob? How you doing, man? Fourth XFA passed yesterday. 550K. Dude, you're max funded just like me. Way to go, buddy. No trades on any of them. We'll take trades with 3 to 5 micros max. I think that's a good plan. You know, it doesn't as long as you're not in a rush with these, you'll do fine with them, Jacob. So, you know, it's like yesterday on that trade that I took on the Nasdaq, you know, gave it a chance to be a $1,200 or a $1,300 winner, and ended up pulling it off, you know, with about 430 bucks in profit. And, you know, that was great. That was on 4 micros. It's 430 bucks. I mean, that's fantastic, right? So I think the important thing is, like, the more I, you know, think about everything and teaching you guys and, you know, trying to get as many of you up above, you know, treading water as possible. The more I reflect on how to do that the best way, the more I keep coming back to less is more. 1,000% less is more. Everybody's it's just like, it's our human nature to like think the harder we struggle, the better it's going to work. Whereas trading is kind of the opposite. Yeah, you got to work really hard, but you got to work really smart, and definitely just not being in a rush and just zooming out and waiting for setups to come to you. Less is more. 100%. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, there'll be more, Jacob. So don't worry about that. We'll see what we got today. There were a couple good ones today, but I didn't trade pre-FOMC. But the Russell gave a good buy here, Jacob, this morning. Just because we came into the day with our bullish bias. I mean, you guys can see the VolPro Edge bias. It's a gift to come into the day and have that bias be relatively correct most days. It really just helps you looking at the market from the right side. So right there, that little pocket right there on the Russell, it was a good buy at 9:32 a.m. Eastern. But I wasn't in front of the computer, so I didn't take that. So Jacob, I don't even care how long it takes me to get a payout. Keep these. Yeah, it's the key. Look, you've accessed some good capital now. You've used your money to access good capital. You've got good leverage on the money you've spent to get those XFAs, and yeah, you're not gonna do yourself any favors by rushing through it and blowing them out, right? It's one thing if you can blow them out and you know that you can, you know, keep getting them back, but you worked hard to get those, and you know, now you want to keep them. So I agree with you, man. And look, on 5 XFAs, I don't really see any reason why you shouldn't be able to build those up, and at least, you know, whatever you make working at home, I think you should be able to get yourself a nice little double salary on top of that from these XFAs. That shouldn't be that hard to, you know, generate 5, 6, 7 grand a month on these XFAs. So with that said, don't think about the money, just follow the process. But I think risking a few $100 here on each trade, trying to make, you know, 600 to 900, risk a few hundred, try to make 600 to 900. The key is just to give yourself plenty of room on the drawdown on those XFAs. I mean, I kind of would recommend that, Jacob. That's what I'm doing because I'm kind of the same right now. I want to try to build these XFAs, and I really want to make this the live YouTube trading project to try to build these with every trade on air. So I'm gonna try and rotate them trade by trade by trade because I think it just spreads out your risk, right? Like, sure, copy trading is nice, but if you're gonna copy trade these, then you'd really only want to like, copy trade maybe a micro or two per account. But then you could really only trade like the indices or gold, right? We're going to be trading everything. If I see a good setup on nat gas and I want to risk a few $100 on an account, then I want to take that nat gas trade, or feeder cattle or live cattle or corn or whatever. Yeah, let's do it. I think it's going to be fun. And I'm really, really excited. We got some people testing the NinjaTrader DLLs now. KLR and John G are going to test out the DLLs, and Jonas is getting it to work on his computer. I don't have NinjaTrader yet, and if I can avoid downloading NinjaTrader and have another platform, I'll do it. So I just asked people who already have NinjaTrader, like KLR and John G, if they can test out the DLL and replicate what Jonas saw, which was the indicators are working on Ninja. So once we get that squared away, continue to work on the latency with Sierra, then we pretty much got the 3 major platforms covered. And the next stage is algos, because there are just so many trades that happen overnight during London that I want the algos to pick up for us. How we'd run that on Topstep, I don't really know. And some prop firms, I don't even think you're allowed to use algos. Like Tradeify says you're not allowed to use algos unless you're the owner of the algo. So, I think the algos are going to be more for live accounts, but you can also use the algos even if they don't like automatically execute on your prop accounts. You can still use the algos as like your own signals. Like, oh, the algo's flagging a buy here. Okay, boom, go put it on your Topstep account, right? Then you're not using a bot, right? So, what's up, David? Buenas tardes, amigo. ¿Qué tal? Working on my accent there, David. Yeah, so we got 3 minutes until the Fed. See what the language does. And thank you. Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to sound Costa Rican, David. The Centro American Español. Yeah, I'm feeling better now, guys, slowly, which is awesome. It was really, really shitty to feel sick for like 10 days. A lot of people here are sick in Costa Rica. I was talking to like we got guards where we live, and they're really nice. And when I was sick, I was like, his name's Jose. I was like, Jose, are you sick? He's like, no, I'm fine. And then today I went down there. He's like, oh, he's sick. So there's something going around. My XFAs? No, these XFAs are from, no, but these aren't, they haven't done that, Jacob, because typically my pattern with Topstep is I'll get payouts and then I go super aggressive and then maybe I'll get another couple payouts, but I've blown a lot, once I build up profits. So that's what I'm going to try and not do this time, because Topstep's always been my super aggressive prop firm because the no consistency rule, right? So no, these XFAs are from the last couple months. So the last payout I took on these was for $9,000. Remember I shared that, like maybe it was like right before I got sick or something. So but yeah, we'll see. I mean, probably I'll try to run these. I'll try to run these up, and in the end, personally, yeah, props, I'll probably just start focusing more and more on my live account. I don't see a need to share 10% with the prop firms, and I certainly don't see a need to like, wait for payouts, hope they're going to pay me out, hope I don't get banned. I mean, I'm kind of just you know, at that stage. But we'll see. I'd like to try to run these up with Topstep. That'd be nice. The important thing is getting you guys, you know, consistent payouts on yours. David, Andy, do you ever recommend getting 50Ks? I mean, not really, because it's not that much price difference and you've got to pay the $150 to activate it anyways. So I think that extra $2,500, right? Is it 25? Oh, there's the announcement. So let's just pay attention here real quick. Here's the, so let's go to Nasdaq. Here's the Nasdaq. Yeah, so I think the 150K with Topstep is still the best value for sure. Right, because on the 50K, you only get a $2,000 draw. I just don't think that's enough. That's another thing too, you know, with the prop firms. When you look at the amount of money you actually have to make, it's way easier trading on your live account once you actually are consistent and you can make money, because you know, you don't have, like on a, if you think about 150K Topstep account, you gotta, you know, make $9,000 with 4,500 in draw. That's a 200% return. And then once you make the 200% return, that's when you get the actual account that you have to go make more returns. So, you know, let's say you don't really want to take that payout, that first payout, until you've gotten up to, like, I don't know, 5 grand in profits at least. And then you can only take half minus 10%. So, you know, let's say you build it. Let's say you got to make 200% to pass the challenge. And then you got to make, let's just say, another 100%. So you got to make over 300% in actual return to get to your first payout for a couple $1,000, right? That tells you how difficult it actually is. I don't think many people think of the math in terms of those numbers. Whereas, you know, with your own capital, you know, the hardest part for most people about their own capital is that they don't have enough money to make a meaningful amount of money, right? So if you've got, you know, a couple $100,000 in money you literally don't have to touch, you don't need to live off of or whatever, and then, you know, you could do 10% a month, which is definitely like way doable, pretty conservatively in my opinion. This is not investment advice. Then, you know, that's on a couple $100 grand, that's 20 grand a month, right? That's worth it. That's way easier than the prop firms. So hope that makes that clear. But I think for, you know, for those who don't have that kind of money that they're sitting on, then the prop firms are, you know, a good idea. For me, when I started with the prop firms, I mean, I was just using it because there was more leverage on capital, which was nice. But, you know, now with a lot of them, they change rules, and, you know, it's a lot of work too, you know. It's been an interesting ride with the prop firms for me. Having, you know, you see, at the end of the day, man, these prop firms, they're businesses. They're in business for one reason. It's not to make you money. So just know that. But they can be a good opportunity, like Jacob, if you can get a nice run on these over the next, you know, 6 months or whatever, then that could help you, you know, fund your own live account. Same for Ralph, David. You guys can use, you got a lot of runway with these prop firms because you haven't taken a lot of money off of them. So you'll be able to build up some decent payouts and build yourself to a decent, you know, live account. So I was thinking that might be one thing too, for the stream that could be fun. I'm going to trade these XFAs as long as I can, hopefully build them up nicely. But if I can't, you know, we'll see how long those go. Gold signal, famous them. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to block you for spamming. Oh. We'll see if it continues. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I put him in timeout for 24 hours. Thanks, Jacob. All right, so we're gonna get an alert here on Nasdaq. We're in congestion. This is a nice pocket right here on the Nasdaq. The question is whether or not to take this because Powell's coming out. I'm always like, I don't really trade too much. I'm guessing the announcement was kind of a nothing burger. But all other things being equal, you know, we're in congestion here on the Nasdaq. That's a nice little pocket. You've got the daily support here. So I actually like the signal to go long. Question is, you know, there's probably not a lot of liquidity right now waiting for Powell. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to change the rates. So I'll probably not trade until like I'm probably going to wait and see if anything sets up for like power hour once Powell's already been speaking for a little bit, just because there's not a lot of liquidity right now. And you guys can do what you want to do. Like right now on the Nasdaq, this little pocket right here, you know, this, all other things being equal, that's could definitely go like that. Depending where this closes. Still got about 7,000 contracts left. ES, kind of similar. You can see ES right in here. The Dow gave a pretty nice, at 130, you had a nice pocket there you see on the Dow, right in the daily support. So you guys can see, you know, the signals work. Question is, take it before Powell. So yeah, so I'll run these XFAs up as much as I can, but you know, in the future, I'll have to see. I might just trade a live account on stream just because I don't really see anybody else doing that on YouTube. That could be a good way to kind of do something different, right? So we can go ahead and look at the 20,000 volume chart here. This is kind of like our hourly. So like right now, for example, on the Nasdaq, you know, here's your pocket. You're in congestion. 21,980. This is where you've got kind of all your support there, which is right in here. I mean, I'll watch if we can get like a really low risk entry on the 20,000 volume chart, then I might entertain that. I never like to trade, you know, pre these press conferences because there's just not a lot of liquidity. You guys taking any trades today? David, you had a winner this morning, right, on the Nasdaq? You took half your profit and then the other half kind of came back to take you out, I think. So you'll see when this one closes here, it's looking pretty similar to the Dow here. You see how the Dow kind of leading with this nice little pocket right here into the support, boom, into the daily support right there. So now ES and NQ. Here's ES. Looks like it's giving a similar pattern when that closes, and NQ the same right here when this closes. So the fractals repeat. David, yeah, it was a trade to test how patterns work on FOMC. Yeah, saw a good setup. Good. Yeah, there's some good setups. I don't usually trade before the FOMC. It's like hit and miss. Some days it can be just annoyingly choppy and you're like, why did I trade? And then some days like today, there was actually pretty decent volatility. So looking back on today, I wish I had traded, but you know, I didn't. Let's see here. I'm just getting a yeah, I think David, you know that that chart that you posted for the Nasdaq for Sierra charts, that has the live DLL, or you know the like the VolPro Edge indicators live, and you shouldn't be using that one anymore. I mean, that really even shouldn't be there anymore. So I'm wondering if you've got the right, you know, indicators on your charts. It should just be VolPro Edge indicators. There shouldn't be a live or a back test anymore. Um, what's up, AJ? How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. We're just waiting for Powell to come on. Yeah, I wouldn't trade with big size either, David. Nice, Ralph. Yeah, Ralph and David, you guys and AJ, you guys are all using Sierra. You shouldn't see the VPE indicators live or VPE indicators backtest. I removed those DLLs. So now you should just have VPE indicators and you're able to use that for everything. Your live trading, your backtesting, whatever. So check that out on your charts. So we're just getting a pattern here on Nasdaq, a nice little pocket, probably good for a little buy down here, but I'm not going to buy it with Powell coming on in 15 minutes. But I think you're going to have a lot of support here. We're coming into the day here from our end of day analysis last night. You guys know that we were, favoring the long side with these pocket supports here on the daily chart. So far, the support levels have been holding. We'll see what Powell says. I wouldn't be surprised to see us push back up here. So there's the close for the Nasdaq right there on the 100,000 volume chart right here. And that's a nice pocket. And you've got some nice DML support there at like 21,980. So if Powell wasn't coming on here in 15 minutes, I would have to look to set an order there at 21, let's see. 21,975. But I'm not going to because of Powell. Powell's ruining everything for me. So I'm just going to let it be. Let it be. Hey, Supreme. My week is good, man. I've been sick and I'm only just now getting better, but thanks for checking in. Yeah, whatever works, bro. You got to do what you got to do to make money. That's the key. I get it. I haven't been streaming much because I've been sick. So, but yeah, all good. Yeah, it usually is AJ before the Fed. There was a decent little long on the Russell right here at 9:30. I didn't see it because I wasn't trading because I don't trade pre-FOMC, but that little pocket right there into all the support right there on the daily, that wasn't bad on the Russell. Silver gave a little bit of a long down here for sure, exhausting into that support level. So there were some trades pre-FOMC, more than I thought there'd be. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm not 100% yet, but at least I'm not 50% anymore, so that's nice. I'm probably like, I don't know, 85%. I'm at least not a narcoleptic anymore. I swear, guys, I felt like I had narcolepsy. Like I would wake up after like 12 hours of deep sleep, and then I would try to stream, for an hour or just get some stuff done on the computer. And then after like an hour of being awake, after sleeping for 12 hours all night, like I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I would just go to the bed and just, oh man, it was terrible. Thanks, AJ. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it sucked. Oh yeah. No, I was definitely looking worse for wear there for a while. Aaron the Commodity, he tuned in one day when I was like super sick and I was trying to stream. And he sends me a message. He's like, buddy, you look like shit. I was like, yeah, dude, I know. I'm fucking dying over here. That was really funny. So yeah. Yeah, so let me just check. We're waiting for Powell. We got a good little setup here in the Nasdaq pocket. Probably ES, nice little support pocket. Dow, little support pocket down here already. So, oh yeah, definitely. It's weird because you can feel that whatever that is, the vid, I don't know. It's not like a normal flu because it goes through weird. I don't know. Like maybe it's just me, but when I was growing up, it's like remember, you'd either have like a cold or a flu, but you wouldn't have both. And like this, I don't know. It just feels different. It's just weird. I guess it all came out that it all kind of was made in a lab and, you know, released on us. How nice. It's unbelievable. Yeah, not fun though, that's for sure. So tonight I'm going to do a video just because Jose's using Sierra now, and we got another user that's using Sierra. So I'm just going to do a fresh video on how I think you guys should have your Sierra charts set up. And then I'll post like a recent chart book for you to download from me that has the correct DLL, which you should all have, which is just the normal VPE indicators DLL. So we'll get that all squared away. So David, I can't really see. David, it should just be this here. I'll show you. So right when you go to add custom study like that, it should be this one. This is the only one you guys should see here. VolPro Edge indicators, VPE client DLL. You click on that, and then those indicators. You shouldn't see the back test one or the live one. All that should be gone from yours. So I'll do a video on that. And I know some people were struggling because when you're on the Sierra charts list and then you go to add custom study, you know, you got to scroll all the way to the bottom, you know, here. So anyways, we're getting there one step at a time. And David, this weekend or whenever we have time, we can talk about, you know, how you want to name things in Spanish. Can't you just call it envelope? Let's see what envelope is in Spanish. Google Translate. Sobre. Este es el sobre de VolPro Edge. El sobre es verde. Y how's that, David? So I don't know. We'll come up with. David's going to put the whole course in Spanish, you guys. So we're trying to come up with. He said that you don't really use. You wouldn't call it like an envelope in Spanish. So we got to figure out what to call it. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's true. The vid feels different out, AJ. Definitely, man. Yeah, let's see what happens, Supreme. I'm bullish because my charts are bullish. But yeah, you know, when Powell starts speaking, anything's possible. Yeah, version 2713, that should be the one, AJ. Yeah, that's weird that you can't find it, Jose. I don't know. El sobre, yeah. Maybe the envelope, maybe David can tell us if sobre works for envelope. I don't know. We can call the true average el medio auténtico. Just kidding. I have no idea. Oh my gosh. It's going to be fun to come up with all these. Eventually, VolPro Edge will be in a bunch of different languages. We got to get Andreas to do it in German. Hochdeutsch. I would do it in Swedish, but all the Swedes speak perfect English, so there's no need. Thankfully. Yeah, exactly. In Swedish, I don't know. In Swedish, they just use the English words anyways. Like, they'll just call it the envelope. I think in Swedish, envelope is maybe couvert, like the French for envelope. No, my other daughter lives in Los Angeles, Jacob, with my ex-wife, who's also Swedish. I got to call her. I haven't talked to her in a little bit because I've been sick and the new baby's here. Hmm. So guys, I'm just going back and forth here between the YouTube messages while we wait for Powell and Discord messages because we're trying to figure out some stuff here for the Ninja Trader and all that kind of stuff. All right. Let's see. So John, I got your message. So apparently the real time looks okay on Ninja, but maybe the historical looks a little off. Figure that out. See if KLR is having the same problem. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Okay. Thanks, KLR. Okay. We're trying to get Ninja Trader all. We're in the home stretch. It's going to be so nice just to have Sierra charts, Ninja Trader, everything working, you know, just nicely and have it all ready to go. Alex, that's so cool having kids in different parts of the world. I never had kids. Most is too broke, and women don't like broke guys. Yeah, having kids is fun. Paying for them is not fun. And, you know, they really, I don't know, like it's having kids is great, but when you have kids, you just got to be prepared that like those of us who have kids, we know like your whole life in terms of what you want to do is just like that's not happening anymore. It's now like all about the kids all the time. I guess, you know, until they get out of the house or whatever, but for me that's going to be a long time. um oh yeah. Yeah, but you don't want those muchachas, AJ. You want the muchacha that wants you before you got the cash. That's the key. Or at least a muchacha that wants you that doesn't know you have cash. We got to get you being once we're all ready to go with Ninja Trader and everything's working perfectly. And we got the algos going. You know, then you can start your affiliate channel and be the king of VPE for vets. That'll be sweet. Then you'll be ready to rock and roll. Yeah, we'll have a template, Jacob, as soon as we get it all squared away. As soon as we get everything done, you know, I'm going to reorganize the channels for the charts and stuff and be like, okay, guys, for Sierra charts, like these are the charts. Here's templates. You know, for Ninja, here's the template. For TradingView, here's the template. And it's just boom, boom, boom. And it'll be easily accessible for everybody. Like AJ, when you go into your charts for Sierra and you right click and you go studies and you go add custom study and you scroll the bottom, you see this one, right? You see the VP client DLL 2713. You don't see backtest or live or anything, right? You just see that one, right? Anybody who's using Sierra charts, you guys should just see that. And that should be what's there. Yeah, that's nice, man. Dude, I think this could be a good thing for vets, you know? Like it's I mean, combat veterans, if you guys can handle the stress of being in combat, I would have to think that trading once you learn how to do it, you know, would be relatively stress-free because you're not getting bullet shot at your head, you know? Like, I think trading, it's just all about, I think most people overcomplicate it by making the time zone. First of all, they don't have an edge, but then they also just go way too, like, you know, short time periods, which there's really no point in that. Like, you really don't need more than, you know, a few really good high quality trade setups a week. And then you just scale that up and you can make good money, right? So you still see backtest and live after you restarted Sierra charts twice. Okay. I'll have to fix that. That should not be there. So do I backtest. Okay. But do you see the other one too? Do you see the VPE indicators and backtest in live? Okay. Yeah, so the client is really the one you should be using for everything. Backtest and live you shouldn't be using. So I mean, I'll work that all out. Tonight I'll get in there and mess with it. Yeah, because if you're still using backtest and live and you're getting latency, that's why, because the new client DLL has new code that has reduced the latency significantly. Yeah, you guys want 2713. Get rid of backtest and live on all your charts. I mean, they really shouldn't even be there. So I don't know. I got to go into Sierra's back office and figure all that out. We'll get there. But the 2713, okay, that's because you're on the 2713, right, Jose? Yeah, because that's the one I sent to you. So yeah, the latency, when you use the correct version, the latency is good now. So we are getting there. Now we just got to figure out Ninja. Okay, thanks, Kellar. We'll get Ninja working in the next few days for sure, I think. All right. It's good to know. All right, so Powell, I guess, has begun to speak. Yeah, exactly. This is all just pre-launch, you know, which is cool. Just getting everything like VPE. This is just the infant stages, you know, getting everything worked out. Yeah, David, you could just rewind the video like the last 10 minutes and you can see everything I said about that. About it's yeah, it seems like some people are using the wrong DLLs, the back test and the live. They shouldn't even be visible there, but apparently they are. And if those are running on your charts, then that's why the latency is not good, because it's the wrong version. Like Jose is not seeing any latency really because he's on the correct version, which is the client 2713. But we'll get it all worked out. So you can see ES, you know, pushing nicely out of the pocket. NQ as well. Guys, go back and rewind the video. What did we say? 75 as the order. I didn't put it there, but I said 75. I think it went to a low of like 77, but I just chose that number because we had the pocket here and these DMLs were right there. Kind of fun to see that. Yeah, we only went as low as like 77. I was off by 2 points. Bummer. So ES gave a good buy signal. NQ gave a good buy signal. The Dow, not bad. Russell, we're waiting. Gold is not really responding at all. Silver's kind of hanging out. We're about to get a close on silver. Copper, pretty choppy. Bitcoin just kind of hanging out. Crude. So we'll see if we can get any opportunities here the last hour and a half. Mainly going to be focusing on the indices. And then we'll pick up. Tomorrow is a half day because of Juneteenth, so the volatility probably won't be worth trading. So probably take tomorrow off and then pick up on Friday morning. And then next week will be a full week as usual. Let's see. Yeah, good, AJ. Yeah, the whole code has been redone in that new 2713. The way it's fetching data and all that. So, okay, good. I'm glad you got that. Supreme watching 22,125. Yeah, I mean, could definitely push up there. Here's the Nasdaq. I mean, if while Powell is speaking, you know, we would get a buy signal down here on the Nasdaq. I might take that if the lower time period confirms a buy. Jacob, not sure if you saw my question. Curious if you were doing more or less the same stuff when you were traveling and younger, doing this full time. What do you mean, like my schedule, or you just? I don't know what you mean, Jacob. Yeah, Supreme, you got to be. People got to be careful trading while Powell is speaking. So, Jacob, if you want to rephrase your question, I'll try to answer it. About trading, maybe it didn't go through. It was in the last few minutes. Near 20. Were you taking these same setups, or how are you making consistent? I mean, I wasn't trading VolPro Edge back then, so you know, I was. It was different, and I didn't have, you know, the bankroll that I had, so you know, I was happy to be able to just cover my life expenditures and then just grow over time. And you know, all this, like what you guys are coming into now, I mean, this has been a labor of love for me for, you know, a long time. So this is, you guys are stepping into it right when it's getting good. Yeah, I mean, I was using stuff that I learned from, you know, my mentor, Charlie. And the thing about Charlie was that he was and is a genius, but just, you know, no offense to him, but just not a great teacher, you know. So it took like 9,000 times as long to learn stuff because you just didn't have anybody really competent to explain it to you. No, this is like this is where I've got it to now. I mean, I'm super excited about this. I'm actually most excited about the algos, just because it's going to be nice to not have to spend so much screen time, you know? Yeah, a lot of the people who are good at things have a hard time teaching it. Um, I think I'm lucky that I'm a good teacher. I can explain things well. Um, but yeah, the thing that I'm most excited about is getting the algos up to a level where it's not going to replace my trading, but just knowing that it'll fill in a lot of the time when I'm sleeping, which will be nice. Yeah, exactly. That's how it is for smart people. Oftentimes they're kind of lost in their head. Will those be hard to code? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the algos, it's all about running the right algo in the right direction from the right zone on the right day, right? You do that, the algo is going to work. I do that. So my algos will work because it's like the way my algos are going to be work. I'm going to be like, okay, well, I know that I want to be looking to buy whatever. Um, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, I've got a clear read on the Australian dollar here because of that pocket. And there's a lot of support here. And we're right at, that daily congestion support level. And then I can see, I can run a number of different algos. I can, excuse me, like I can run an algo because I can see this 4-hour volume chart here closing the day in a trend run down. And then I can run a number of different ones. I could say, okay, well, if we get a congestion entrance bar to the upside that breaks the extension and, closes on the other side of the envelope, go long, whatever the parameter is, stop it there. So or I can say, well, I don't want to run that algo. I want to run the algo and say, if we get into a trend run and we get a pullback into a pocket, and, so there's going to be different algos that are going to be run on the days where it makes the most sense. Does that make sense? And that's why it's going to be so good. Yeah, of course, because a jack of all trades algo is going to be a jack of all losing algo because like that's why nobody can invent algos that work because number one, they don't have something with an edge. And number two, they're trying to make one algo do everything on every market, which is not smart, right? So we're going to have different algos for different markets on different days. Yeah, and they're doing, market making algos. So they're running speed algos like, making markets, which is totally different. This is speculative. We're actually picking direction. Yeah, jack of all jackasses algo. That's why ours are going to definitely be very different. So I'm looking forward to getting to that stage. Is Powell still speaking? I guess he is, right? I think we're just going to keep grinding higher. I wouldn't mind. We have a nice buy signal now on the Nasdaq here for sure with support. We already knew that. So now it's just a matter of, this lower time period can come back down and maybe give a nice buy down here for a pushback up like that. That's what I would be interested in. Yeah, and we don't have the infrastructure like AJ to run those algos. I mean, you've got to be able to have a team of, MIT PhD engineering PhDs and quants, and you got to pay each one of those guys like insane amounts of money, and so that's just a different ball game. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be nice, even for those who don't run them live, just to use it for alerts to tip you off to good spots to take trades. I think it's going to help a lot of people stay a lot more disciplined. Like if you're having trouble sticking to your own rules, just by following the algos, um, you know, it'll at least give you areas to get in on, like smart areas. So that'd be cool. Oh, thanks, Ralph. Yeah, he's answering questions. Okay, good. Yeah, that's if you make a lot of money. Like, if you make astronomical amounts of money, AJ. Oh, it's cool, Jacob. That's why we're here to chat, you know? All this stuff is, it's what it's all about, you know? But if I have to focus, I'll just tell you and then I can answer the questions later. So I don't mind any of your guys' questions. We're here to hang out and chat and wait for our setups, you know? And I think it does help for you guys to learn more about like me and real trading, because that's going to help you shape your realistic expectations. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Well, we got a signal before Powell started speaking here. So 21,975 was the area I called out for support, but it only got to 21,977. So I was off by 2 points. Anyways, I kind of don't like the trade heading into him speaking, but now that he's been speaking for a while and he settles in, if we get like a buy down in here on this lower time period, somewhere down in here, then I might take a flyer on one of my XFAs. Oh yeah, my algos are not going to be, it's only going to be taking like, you know, 1 or 2 trades a day on the markets that it's running on. Yeah, I think I mean, the daily bias, Aaron, is long from yesterday's end of day analysis video, because here you can see that nice pocket, these DMLs on the daily. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the day we try to push up to like 22,140, 22,150 up in here. So, you know, if we got a buy signal down here, I'd probably have to take it. Let's see. David, you posted a screenshot. Let me check here. Yeah, that should be the correct one there, David, that you should be using. So the live and the back test shouldn't even be there. I don't know why those are there, but I have to figure out. Yeah. And yeah, other people are saying that their latency is a lot better, David. Yeah. And now, Jose, I can see you got the correct ones. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, 456 milliseconds. What's that? That's half a second, David. That's not bad. So I don't know. We'll have to continue plugging away. What's up, Zest? How you doing, man? We're just waiting to see if we get long the Nasdaq maybe. While Powell's speaking, and we're doing some tech talk and latency issues and other fun things. I mean, being in Europe does make everything worse, David. No, I don't know. That shouldn't make a difference. We'll figure it. Maybe Spain is throttling you. Spain doesn't want you to make money, David. The communist Spanish government, they make everything on the internet all the packets slow down, so people have a harder time making money, and then they tax the hell out of you. Yeah, it's crazy. We'll get it squared away. All right, so I'm looking to get long the Nasdaq down here. If this 100,000 volume chart can kind of come down here a little bit more. Our original entry order here, the idea we had was at 75. We only hit a low of 77. Silver, we just got a close, but right now indices are where it's at for the last hour. Yeah, exactly. I think in Spain it's even more than half the money. It's crazy. Big consolidation on the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty choppy, but we've got a lot of support down here. So let's see if this pushes down here. Yeah, that's crazy, 54%. That is loco. Loco en la cabeza con impuestos. All right, let's wait and see if we get a long setup here. Oh yeah, I don't know how people pay the taxes in Spain. It's nuts. Let's see what ES still kind of sitting. NQ, I mean, if it comes back down here into a pocket, we've still got about 4,000 contracts left to trade on this one. But if we were to come back down here into this pocket, I mean, we're still into all this support here. I'd probably have to buy it and just, that'd be my shot for the day, risk my 400 bucks or make money. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. And my target would be up around 22, 160, somewhere up there. Oh yeah, Canada also sucks. Crazy. Pretty much everywhere sucks for taxes. Yeah, Spain's a nice country. I like Spain. So you can see the daily, into that 960 area here, you got a lot of support coming across right there. This is the daily chart. There's your daily DMLs. You can see our extension congestion DML held, envelope bottom held. So, we've got a lot of support in here, which is why I think we could head back up here. But let's see. And right now we have a good buy signal potential here. So if the lower time period confirms with a buy, I'm probably going to have to buy it. Even though we just have to be fully aware that with Powell speaking, it is more risky because there's not as much liquidity, things like that. So yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty right now with the war and everything else, Yeah, 960, anywhere down there, Jacob. Yeah, it's crazy. A year for a doctor's appointment. Nuts. Yeah, I'm waiting for a close here on this 20,000, Jacob. So if this shifts to a pocket, I don't really like this flash against me. But I'm watching this level right here. I'll just make it a game time decision. I'll let you guys know. Still got about 600 contracts left. Yeah, it's tough with the war, Aaron, for sure. I agree, man. definitely. That's a lot of support right there. I'm going to wait. I think this could be a good buy here, guys. With Powell speaking, I don't really feel like I'm in that much of a rush. For those who are feeling saucy, there's definitely a lot of support here. The reason I'm just exercising a little bit of caution and not taking it is because you see how we're coming out of this flash here, right? And we didn't get this to shift down for the pocket. Doesn't mean that there's not support here. It just means I'm not really in a rush to buy it. You can just, on your minute chart, Jacob, you can just, you know, add the volume indicator and then bring up like a 15-minute chart or a 10-minute chart. And then you'll be able to see how many contracts roughly make 10 minutes, 15 minutes during that period of the day you want. And then you can, you know, get your answer to that question. Like, it's probably like a, kind of hard to say. It depends on how volatile the market is. I'm rooting for you, Supreme. Hope you get it. No, I'm pulling. I don't like, since this lower time frame is not like low, I don't think it hurts. I like having it. It just helps me dial in the higher time frame a little bit better, but I'm just not letting the tail wag the dog, right? So see what happens. We're breaking some support now. So, but you see how, like, if you use these patterns correctly, guys, they can really tip you off to stuff. Like, coming out of that flash, you know, you just got to be a bit more careful. PM, you know, hey, I want to buy this. You know, you got to, coming out of that flash can make that more dangerous. That was the big tip off. And then we also, oftentimes what you'll see is that the math will shift and the pocket like this, it'll shift. And that does actually make the support stronger. Whereas this didn't, this stayed up here. Yeah, this is why, well, you know, when Powell's speaking, there's not a lot of liquidity. I don't have a DOM up right now, but you know, I'm sure it's not as hard to move this market around right now, right? Because there's just not a lot of participants trading. Thrive Trading prop firm. Is that a real prop firm, AJ? Aaron, did you take any more trades today? How'd you do? Are you done for the day? I just kind of expected, like, I want to just see what the FOMC does. Tomorrow we got Juneteenth. Just kind of let this all pass. Don't be in a rush. So we got ES. Still got some time left, but now the support's broken on these. So to me, these potential buy patterns are invalidated. You would have been at break even anyways, like had you got in on the initial, you know, test down here when it pushed up here, and then, you know, you're up that many points and it starts coming back, just be at break even, you know. Ah, nice little cough attack. That wasn't a bad little short on gold there, to be honest. Nice little pocket in congestion. I was just kind of more focused on the indices, but but that was at 11 o'clock this morning, that pattern. So it's just completing now. Silver, copper doing nothing. Platinum, ultra bonds. So now ultra bonds is starting to respect that resistance level we talked about in the end of day. Kind of a choppy day for the most part. I mean, gold's dropping and indices are dropping. ES and Q. So just wait. We got power hour starting right now. So Zest going long the gold. Probably not a bad idea. NQ's dropping. Lots of support down here on the gold. I mean, I might get a long signal on gold here if it keeps punching to the low of days down in here. So gold could, I gotta wait till this closes, but keep an eye on gold. There's the Dow. Kind of just let that do its thing. Keep an eye on gold here. Yeah, NQ, I don't know, the indices, I don't see anything I like right now. But gold down here, low a day, you know, on my charts, on the 40,000 contract, you've got gold in congestion here, just ranging. So if we test the low a day and we stay in congestion, you know, could be good for a move back up like that. I'd have to keep an eye on this extension coming across there at 33.88. Yeah, Nasdaq's trying to push up out of this support now for sure. I'm waiting now, Aaron, until this bar closes on NQ because I go off of my closed. So the last potential signal was here on that close, but now we've invalidated that support level. So now we just wait and see where this closes. You know, 45,000 more contracts. Have you traded today, Aaron? How are you doing? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Zest, about equities being risk off, and gold's not really going anywhere. So it makes sense that there'd be support down here for sure. Definitely. So you send the video to Jonas. Maybe he can see what I mean. On the second chart, you can see the difference with the candlestick bar. So you can check. It's not my net firewall to show data. Okay. Just 4 charts open. Okay, thanks, David. But you know what's strange is that everybody else is reporting, you know, good latency, right? So I don't know why your charts would be the odd one out, David. That's what I'm trying to figure out. We will figure it out. I just don't know what's going on. But we'll get there. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll, but you shouldn't, I mean, because the normal latency, the way it's working now is quite good. You know, it's definitely acceptable. And I want it to be acceptable on your computer as well. There might be a grand conspiracy by Spain against VolPro Edge because I left Spain. Sanchez is like, no, we cannot permitir Andres for using VolPro Edge. Yeah, but your latency should still, it should still be good. We'll do some testing. So here's gold. I might bring up the gold. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. So I'm just waiting for gold to close here. I mean, I typically don't really like trading power hour. So we'll see if anything sets up, especially on the indices. So Nasdaq, you got some support, but I'm waiting for that close. ES, we're waiting for the close. The Dow. Oh, that's interesting. The Russell kind of, that's not a terrible, you got a double pocket. So that's not, I'm not nuts about that on the Russell. But I mean, yeah, I don't really feel the need. But for the Russell, I mean, it's not bad. You got a lot of support potentially right there to the congestion DML. You got the extension congestion. So we can keep an eye on the Russell and just see what happens when price, if price gets to 21.29. So I'm just going to watch the lower time period here on the Russell and see what happens when we test that congestion DML at 21.29. Could be an interesting spot to maybe buy the Russell for a move back up. Whenever I say the Russell, I think of the terrier. What's that little terrier dog? You know, the little the Russell, the little Russell terriers. Are they called Russell terriers? You guys know what I'm talking about. You short? You short NQ? Oh, Jack Russell Terrier. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah. Whenever I think of the Russell 2000, I think of the Jack Russells. Those guys are feisty, huh? They're like unkillable. The Jack Russell Russells. Uh, so Aaron, you short Nasdaq? Betting on the congestion exit to the downside. Nice. So Zest doing the big short NQ with the long GC. Nice. Exactly. Well, it's yeah. I mean, looks like NQ wants to try to go for low a day, maybe. Aaron, 21,953 on the entry. Nice, 20 points. 400 bucks already. What are you going for? Low a day? Yeah, gold I'm interested in longing down here to depending where that closes. The Russell, I'm just keeping an eye. Wow, I just got crazy deja vu right here. That was weird. Kind of a nice afternoon. We don't usually have this kind of a lovely afternoon. Usually the monsoon has already rolled in. So we're at the 21.29 level on the Russ. I'm just curious to see what it does. I'm not like super nuts about it because you got the, you know, double pocket. You're coming out of that resistance pocket. Yeah, the support looks nice. It does. But I don't really like coming out of that. But let's see. I try not to think too much, Jacob. I don't know. See, because this is all just perspective on time frames, right? So from my perspective, nothing's happening, right? When I look at my 4-hour charts, you know, this is nothing on the Nasdaq. This is kind of nothing on Russell. You know, gold is giving us a congestion, potentially buy setup. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot. And Russell and the Nasdaq, you know, there can be quite a delay between those two markets because they're so different. So we got a battle here. Supreme is longing NQ. Aaron is short. Yeah, I could see it going either way, guys. That's why I'm not in. So the Russell held the first attempt of the congestion DML right there, 21.29. AJ's out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing a whole lot. Might have to do some fake baseball pitching. Gold is kind of the one I'm waiting for here. Low a day. See if we get any decent setup. Question is, Zest, how much can gold move? How much does it usually like to move in that last, you know, 30, 40 minutes? Jacob, I'm not familiar at all with how NQ and the other indices track each other. Yeah, Russell definitely deviates more. Yeah, there are times when you can see the deviation really, really clearly. Right now, I don't really see much of a deviation, but definitely when you do see a clear deviation, it can lead to a good trade. But you got to be careful because you never know which one is leading and which one's following. Oh, so Zest, you're holding. Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah, that's a different approach. Supreme stopped. Well, that's a small quarter of an hour. No biggie. Aaron, $600. Nice job, man. Yeah, SPY, SPX for sure. There goes the Russell. But you see, when Powell's speaking, this is the kind of stuff that happens, right? It's like it's just all over the map. Better to exercise caution. Oh, Trump is talking to Iran now. Is that on top of the press conference? Is Powell still talking? Yeah, I think there's going to be an interesting support level here on gold. it looks like that's still nice. We all need some luck, Aaron. Good job, buddy. It's going to be interesting to see what gold does here. You've got some support. It's only 30, 40 minutes left in the day. Probably not going to do a whole lot. That wick killed my 2-hour trade. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's a good rule, Zest. The Europeans have the advantage of trading when Trump is sound asleep. Sometimes his thumbs will get going in his sleep like this. That's funny. Comes a little buy-in on the gold. I mean, ES and Q. The Dow. The Russell. Kind of not a lot of volatility considering the interest rate decision and Powell talking. Yeah, it sucks. Anybody who gets stuck in war, feel bad for them. Um, Trump is making NQ do the forbidden tango. Yeah. Question is with ES, I mean, you're still a lot of support here. Yeah. The military industrial complex. Huh. I think money's like a tool, right? You know, depends. It's like a hammer. You can use it to build a house, which is constructive, or you can use it to hit somebody over the head, which is not really great unless they're threatening you. So I think money's like that. I don't think money by itself is bad, but it definitely can corrupt weak-minded people. Oh yeah. I think a lot of people are losing their accounts lately. You going long, Aaron? I mean, there's a lot of support here. Yeah, it definitely reveals people, that's for sure. 100% spring. Shows you who people really are. Yeah. I think karma is real. You gotta treat people the way you want to be treated. It's pretty simple. Let's see. Russell gave an alert. I don't know what. No, that was that old one. Dollar's getting stronger. Here's the Dow. So my gold chart's going to close here in a couple thousand contracts. But I'm just kind of, I'm not really getting a clear picture right now on what anything wants to do. I wouldn't be surprised to see equities continue to find support here. I mean, the ES just kind of in congestion now here. Could want to go back up there. Maybe push for the all these DMLs up here as a magnet, 60, 80. Right up here. Could. On the Dow. Yeah. Could be setting up a buy down here. I'm just kind of waiting to see if it sets up a opportunity to get long down into the support level. But with 38 minutes left in the day, probably I don't feel the need to trade anything. Yeah, it's hard to say, Jacob. This is why with Powell, it's a little bit tricky to trade because there's just not as much liquidity as there usually is. That's why I'm just kind of being careful. I mean, if ES gave me a good buy down here, I might have to take it, depending on how this looks when it closes, because this could be setting up for a little push like that the last half hour. Yeah, there's a lot of support there, for sure. Is Powell still speaking, or is he done? He just finished. Thanks, Ralph. It's a beautiful afternoon. I think equities will be probably well supported into the close. See if I take a long if ES sets up. Nice, buddy. Yeah, well, it's tough when you're already up 850. That's a nice day. And then, of course, I totally get it. You don't want to like screw it all up, the last half hour of the day. I haven't even traded today. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm running out of time here. Nice, David. Enjoy. Thanks, my friend. Have a good evening. I think if we get a long opportunity down here, I might, depending how much time we have left. This is ES. Kind of interested this level right in here. You got the daily support level that's been holding all day. You've got some nice DMLs here and here potentially, so this could be setting up a last half hour move like that. Potentially. Let's wait and see where this baby closes. There's Nasdaq, Dow, Russell. There's gold. I think if I had to bet on long indices or long gold, I'd go long indices at this point, but it just depends on where they would close. So now you're challenging these DMLs again right here. You see those coming across right in that daily zone. I want to keep a close eye on this live DML to see if this shifts down here below us. I mean, you've also got that extension down there, low a day. But at that point, we'd be breaking through the daily. You see, kind of want that holding. Like right now, that daily support is a little, we'll see where this closes, but you can see it coming across. There's the congestion DMLs. Here's the core on the daily. So that's your daily zone is here. Well, not even, pretty much here. You got the envelope bottom there too. See right there, the envelope bottom. So there's our gold alert. Pretty powerful close to the downside on gold. About 30 minutes left. See if we get along here on ES. Play some fake tennis while we wait. Here's Nasdaq, kind of holding its, trying to hold here. I mean, so far it's been pretty choppy and, you know, I feel good about not having rushed into anything. Could be a lot of support down here. Let's wait and see. Are you long gold, Zest? From 95. Yeah. Short NQ from 200. Huh. Hope it works out. Here's ES. I mean, this could be setting up a buy. I like everything about it except for the fact there's only 30 minutes left in the day. We still got 15,000 contracts left till this closes. But see, if we suck up here above all that and you're back above the daily and you got a pocket there, I'm probably going to have to take it. Even with not a lot of time left in the day. $22,000. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought you meant, Zest. Well, that's good. So you're kind of hedged on that position. Yeah, I might. I'm waiting to see where it closes, AJ. Yeah. I mean, this is in congestion here. If we get a close above, right around 60.38, and we have a pocket here confirming it, I'm going to have to buy with like a stop below the low. Yeah, that's a good attitude, Zest. When you don't mind the heat, it gives you a superpower. Well, it depends how fast the market moves, AJ. If it goes my direction, I mean, we only have 28 minutes left till the market closes. And you can get a little wild here the last little bit of power hour, especially before Juneteenth tomorrow. So liquidity is probably going to be extra thin. The signal's definitely looking good. And then the question is, okay, 25 minutes left in the day, Juneteenth tomorrow, do I want to mess with it? I don't know. If it gives me 20 points, that'd be nice. Let's just see where this closes, and then I'll have to make a decision. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, it's just, I might take it, but there's just not a lot of time left, I'm waiting for this close, Aaron. No worries, man. I'm just waiting to see where this closes. We only have 25 minutes left in the day, so I'm, number one, this needs to close right in here to trigger a potential buy signal for me. And then number two, I got to decide if I want to take it with, 20 minutes left heading into the Juneteenth holiday tomorrow. I don't know. What do you think? Liquidity is probably going to be pretty darn low right now. Yeah, nice, Est. Got the gold coming back. Yeah, we'll see if I roll that dice, Jacob. AJ. I saw Jacob. We got Jacob. We got AJ. Hmm. Nice est. I think two is good. Two is a good idea. Well, it's going to close in 2,500 contracts. Gold picking up nicely for Zest. See what we're going to do here. Okay, I'll try and get long at 42. Moving to 37. And a half. So I'm trying to get long at 37 and a half. And if it goes up without me and I miss it, that's okay. I'm just looking at, I like the buy signal here on ES. Our support zone is basically from here. So I'm just saying, hey, at this point with 20 minutes left in the day, if it goes down here and fills me, you know, my risk is quite limited at that point. If it goes up without me, I'm okay with that. So I'm trying to get long at 60.37.5. Yeah, on ES, you at least had like a, for me, that's a nice little potential support pattern there. You're back above that daily support zone. So it's not a, you know, it's a good trade. Anything can happen, but my only reservation with this trade is the fact that there's so little time left in the day. But let's see. Trying to get long at 60.37 and a half. The hard stop is basically like 27, but I really don't want to see that 37 level start to break down. No guts, no glory. Dow. Craps. Craps is fun. Dr. Strangelove cowboy hat. Ride the nuke. Aaron, if it breaks down, it won't have the energy to come back up. Yeah. Right at 980. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at, I got a lot of VolPro Edge support here. So for me, the trade makes sense regardless of how it plays out. It may just even go up without me. I don't know. I'm just being a little more stingy on the entrance because there's so little time left. There's my order. Kind of running out of time. Nasdaq's about to close. It's getting a little cool in here. I had to raise the temp. Got my electric bill again. Man, electricity in Costa Rica is expensive. I wasn't even here half the month, and my electric bill was still $300. My order's still in. In queue. So right there on that little push down, we got to a low of like 41. My order's at 37.5. Yeah, there are casinos here. There are casinos. I think they're probably all rigged. Yeah, the little one's good, thanks. She's gonna be 5 weeks old on Monday. Isn't that crazy? That's gone by so fast. I can't even believe it. So pushing nicely off the support. Yeah, it feels like that, Jacob. Definitely does. Yeah, it's gonna go fast. I'd like it to go very fast. Well, it's only 15 minutes left. I mean, my order was here, and we only got to here. Nasdaq, Dow, Russell. Gold silver, yeah, kind of quiet. Probably missed the ES buy there. Well, didn't miss it, just didn't get filled on the order, which is fine. $15 to go. We're running out of time. Oh yeah, I bet your friend's happy. Have him out of the house, AJ. That's not a bad thing. Oh wow, 4 days ago, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm good. I don't need any more kids now. So I mean, I'll be 65 when Olivia's 20. I think I'm good. Supreme is long. Good luck, Supreme. My order's still in at 60.37.5. You got it, buddy. Yeah, Aaron, I'm trying to get long, but it's only 13 minutes left in the day, so it's not looking likely. It was a pretty unremarkable Fed. Not a whole lot going on. I don't feel like I missed any opportunities. I feel like I traded patiently and smart. Oh yeah, well, got to be positive, AJ. The VP money's on the way. ASAP. That's what it's all about. Well, I wouldn't go near those casinos if you want to hang on to that VPE money, AJ. Not a good idea. I mean, once you start trading for a living, like when I was in college, going to Vegas was fun, like with your buddies and stuff, but now that I like this is what I do, the last place I want to be is a casino. Yeah, I think casinos are a bad idea. Well, I have 12 minutes left. I'm about to pull my order and go enjoy the sunshine. Yeah, I thought Vegas was fun when I was around 20. Huh. I got a crazy story about Vegas. Maybe one day I'll tell it. Let's just say it involves a very hallucinogenic experience. It was crazy. A long time ago. Loaded dice. Here comes the 350 algo. My order is in for now, but I don't know. All right, guys, I'm going to pull the order. I don't feel like gambling with a 350 algo. Although the signal to get long wasn't bad if we had more time in the day. But a pretty uneventful Fed. I mean, I came and thought, hey, if we could get a good setup. It's kind of the only one I've seen is this one here right at the end of the day. But yeah, Juneteenth tomorrow, guys. I'm going to take the day off. Well, I'll do some VolPro Edge stuff and see if I can get Ninja working and some other things. But I'm not really going to trade. And then we'll just come back and hit it fresh on Friday. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Supreme. It's kind of low liquidity right now, so I'm going to call it a day, guys. But thanks for being here. That was fun. I enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys all in the Discord. And it's a marathon, guys. Let's just keep it going one day at a time. My energy's coming back. I'm excited to trade well together and make money together. So remember, patience is the key. Okay, see you guys. Bye.